in a world crying out for a top 10 show. John Rocha and Matt Knost are here to bring you the top 10. Brought to you by the Schmoes Know. Take it away, boys. All right, welcome everybody to this week's episode of the Top 10 Show. This is John Rocha.
I am Matt Knost.
And welcome back.
Yeah.
What are we at, a month now back?
A month back. Thank you to everybody that has said so many kind things on Twitter and on Facebook and on YouTube. I go through it. The amount of comments always blows me away. And then people sub-commenting the number of likes they've given those comments on YouTube, or people that like tweets and retweet it and stuff like that, and some of the artwork people have put out is fantastic. There was one a couple weeks ago that I absolutely adored.
Yeah.
But I think there's like 2 in one day, where there's like a Metallica-themed one. Yeah. And then Hulk and a Thor, and then there's been like a couple since then. It's just like, boom, this is great. Top 10 is back. I love you guys. So thank you so much for sending all those over the past month. It's awesome to see all of it, to interact with you guys. You've been nothing but amazing since we came back. Yeah,
Patricio, who is a guy who's been doing my logos for Outlaw Nation, he did one for us for top 10. It's kick-ass. It's just top 10 like James Bond shit, and then I'm in the one, and you're in the zero number. Like, but it looks so badass and it's cut off like the whole 10 isn't seen; it's just cut off halfway through, so it looks really badass, like some kind of James Bond installment. I was like, oh, this is pretty amazing what people are inspired to do. You know,
over and over and over again. Yeah. Every time we release a new episode or go on the Schmodown, you get hit with stuff, and you're like, I don't know how you have the time to think of this, but this one is pretty brilliant. Yeah. And other people, like for other matches and whatnot, in the Schmodown, you see sometimes some of the fake posters they make for the upcoming fight, and you're like, the amount of creativity to went into that is really impressive. Like, I wish that was my match, because I love that poster, and I would save it to my phone. I've saved a couple of hours in like mine individually to my phone, because it's like, that one puts a smile on my face, the amount of effort you put into that.
Absolutely.
Anyway, why don't we bring the third? We have a guest, and we keep talking, and he's politely sitting there, and I feel guilty, and I'll bring him in because I'm the reason he's here.
You should bring him in, yeah.
You were kind enough to say yes to this.
Of course.
I know.
It's your family.
It is my family. My nephew Gabe is here. Say hello.
Hello.
Introduce yourself to the people.
I am Gabe Knost. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, wow, it's the same last name? Same last name?
Same last name. This is my brother's son.
That's right.
When he was
it's legal.
Like 2 years old, he looked just like I did at that age, and I was like, that's kind of creepy. We looked really like my genes just somehow invaded your dad's body, and like, I'm fighting through this. I'm gonna make me a baby, and it's not my baby. And then you grew into a much more handsome, young,
wow,
Virgil. Wow, thank you. He's got six-pack at his age that I didn't have. Like,
you got a six-pack?
Yeah.
All right.
Jesus Christ.
Let's not get into that.
No, let's not even get into that. But it's nice, and I'm envious as a 38-year-old man. You see, and you're like, I remember what those days were like.
Well, welcome, Gabe, to the show.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, man. We don't know. Have you been listening to our show? Like, were you a fan of the show?
I have been a steady listener ever since it started.
Awesome.
I think he gave us our 5th iTunes review ever.
Oh, thank you, Gabe.
Yeah.
That's very sweet of you.
It was early on.
Yeah.
And on his own volition was just like, hey, man, I gave you guys a comment or a rating on iTunes. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even ask you to do this. Like, I like the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great show.
Thank you, Gabe.
Really
thanks. It's
yeah,
very kind of you.
He now sees more movies than I do. Every week he sees at least one movie. It's just like, I can't even keep up with you.
I know. You left me alone with him for 10 minutes, and the guy had a lot of knowledge. We were just having a conversation about movies back and forth. It was pretty great.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a kid is involved with movies, comes on the show. And this is like, normally like we want to get guests on who like have some kind of pedigree, but this is awesome. This is having a family member on to talk about movies.
He's representative of a fan.
Yeah, exactly. And he's a burgeoning future
filmmaker himself.
Yes,
that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, you said you might be going to San Diego State. Is that correct?
Yeah, San Diego State.
And what are you going to study exactly?
I want to do filmmaking.
No, okay, Gabe, there's a lot goes in film. What specifically? You want to be a producer, writer, director?
I honestly want to do all of it.
Oh, you want to do all of it?
I want to do all of it.
Are you writing your own films right now?
Not right now.
Okay.
I have a buddy. Me and him are like just bouncing a bunch of ideas off each other. He's in this with me. He wants to do it with me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Trying to figure it out.
No,
I like it.
He's always pitching me ideas.
Yeah.
Some of them are excellent.
Okay.
You had one a couple years ago. I don't know if you remember it. You pitched and you're like, hey, what if you told the story from the gun's perspective as it gets handed from owner to owner to owner?
Oh, that's good.
And I was like, wait, you didn't say it like that, but that's how you would pitch the movie.
Yeah.
And I was in my head, I was already visualizing it, and it's like almost Tarantino, like little vignettes. Like, what was that, 4 rooms?
Yeah.
And you're just like, this story, this story, you follow it. And I was like, oh, that could be very interesting.
I remember that. I know what you're talking about.
You're like 15.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a good idea.
Yeah. We should watch Red Violin. It's kind of the same kind of idea.
Really?
So see if you don't...
the violin, the Red Violin, an excellent call.
Yeah,
Great movie.
So you don't repeat those same things if you're going to write a movie like that.
Or repeat those same things. You'll sell the script.
Just do it in American version.
You'll sell the script. Listen, to steal is to be an artist, unfortunately.
Sure.
Yeah.
What Matt said.
The good borrow, the great steal.
Yeah.
And I attribute that to Picasso, but I think that goes way back when. But that's the first person I ever saw say that.
Picasso.
Yeah, Picasso.
You saw him say it?
Well, I'm in it as a quote in a story or something like that somewhere.
I
saw him say it. He died in 1960 something.
Did he?
Early 60s, maybe 70s.
I thought it was 70, so you might have had a chance to see him.
I was born at the end of 1978. So in 79, we got together and we were like, Pablo! And he said something that, as less than 12 months old, I was like, I'm going to remember that. That guy said some shit that stuck with me from infancy.
Had to go with him. I forget why we're doing this one. Do you remember why we're doing the road trip movies?
It was the Coogan movie, wasn't it?
Yes, the trip to Spain.
Yeah.
Which is the third installment of his great... if you haven't seen these, the trip to Italy, and now, of course, the trip to Spain coming out, you are missing out on some very funny British comedy. Steve Coogan does a great job with this other actor, a friend of his who's in the movie, who's a very well-known British comedian himself, and they have these great interactions as they go on this road, and you see the progression of their relationship because it's kind of based on their actual friendship and the way they interact with each other, and they have some great funny moments. Their Michael Caine imitations are some of the best things I've ever seen.
You understand both of their versions.
Yes.
And you're like, well, which one do I believe more? It's really good. Now it's one of those things of now that the impression is broken and be like, well, I can do it now. You just gave me the primer on how to do it. There's the equation. Okay. Right. I didn't have the equation before.
And we were looking at Annabelle Creation. We're going to do something horror, but we want to wait till Halloween.
Yeah. We got a bunch of good horror flicks coming out.
There's no need to blow our wall.
That's actually surprisingly getting some pretty good reviews.
It is, actually. Yeah.
The first one got just destroyed on Rotten Tomatoes. But second one's at like a 90 something now, something like that.
Yeah, a couple of my friends have already gone to see it who are in Collider family have already gone to see it and said it's fantastic. Yeah. So I'm not the massive horror fan. I do like good horror.
Me either.
But this sounds like it could be a possibility.
Possibly. Yeah. Possibly. Maybe it's the horror movie that you go out and see.
And I believe it's by the guy who did Lights Out, if you've seen that.
Oh, yeah,
it is. I believe it's by that guy.
Yeah, I saw that.
That movie, it's pretty decent.
The little movie he did is pretty decent as well. Yeah, so that motivated us to do top 10 road trip movies.
Yeah, why not? It seemed like fun.
Yeah, we thought that there was a lot of choices there, and
it's another one. We chose a topic there's a lot of good choices. Yeah, interesting, tons of different movies you can cover.
Oh man, and
I can't wait to hear your list, Gabe. Just because ours were of the same age, we've seen a lot of the same. And how much have you reached back for?
Yeah,
and I'm interested to see what you've reached back for and what's come out that maybe I'm not appreciating as much.
Right.
Because I haven't seen it. It didn't grab me the first time I saw it or something.
Yeah. All right.
So anyway, the way we set a topic, normally all three of us went off. We created our own individual topics.
We did.
Our individual lists, rather. We show back up here. The way we do it with 3-man is I will do my bottom 5. John does his bottom 5. Then Gabe does his bottom 5. Then I do my next 2. John does his next 2. Gabe does his next 2. Then we trade one apiece thereafter. Once we've all revealed our personal top 10 lists, we create the shows between the three of us.
Boom. What's your feeling on that one?
Clunky at the start, but ended strong.
All right.
The first 2 sentences.
I'm trying to support you here. I feel like you did a great job.
Yeah, you always are. It's fine.
It's true.
It's fine. I appreciate that. If you were critical on top of it, that would just hurt. There's no need to hurt. I'm already hurting myself, and you will understand that.
Everybody hurts.
I thought it was smooth.
Thank you.
It was good.
Thank you.
Okay.
I like it.
Guess he just got himself a ride home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why that was in the balance, but apparently it was all of a sudden.
All right.
Just creating arbitrary stakes in life for you. Well, it looks like somebody's eating dinner tonight. Good for you. I didn't see that coming.
All right, so who's going first?
All right, so I'll go first.
Okay.
Once again, if it's anywhere in your bottom 5, let's talk about it. If it's above that, tell me to hold on to it.
Sounds good.
At number 9, I have a feeling this might be
number 9. You're already jumping.
Pardon me, at 10. Oh. A punt right out the gate.
Okay.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Not on my list.
Not on your list.
It is. It's not on mine either.
Ooh,
it's not on yours either.
All right.
Okay.
You're solo on this one, son.
Not a problem. It got on there at 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I was like, I might as well have something representative of, 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there's 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there's 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there's 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there's 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there's 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there's 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there's 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there's 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there's 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there's 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there's 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there's 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there's 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there's 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there's 10 because it's a newer movie. Yeah. And I mean, there something in the past 15 years.
Sure, that's fair.
There have been good road trip movies in the past 15 years. Which way do I want to go with this? And I like this dysfunctional family. All the characters are dysfunctional for ways that maybe I don't know anybody like that, like a septuagenarian, what is he, heroin addict?
Yeah.
Just like, I don't know any 70-year-old heroin addicts, but sure.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. But all these flawed people, but it's a family, and together they're going to try and band together. And Abigail Brenson gets into the Little Miss Sunshine.
Breslin.
Thank you. Gets into the Little Miss Sunshine pageant, and then they're like, you know what? We're making a break for it. We're going to take her. I don't care the cost. We're going to do this as a family, and everybody, no matter where they're at in their dysfunction, all agree. You know what? This is something we can rally around. We can do. It's a simple goal, and we can make her life. Oh, we're all screwed up.
Yeah.
Fine. Enjoy it. We can't rectify all the problems we've made, but we don't have to start her off with some. So let's build her self-esteem.
Right.
Let's get her out into the world and try and help the next generation so maybe she's not a fuck up like the rest of us. Yeah. And it makes sense to me as a family. You would rally around the youngest and be like, look, we got to lift them up. Hopefully this one is better than all of us. Yeah. Hopefully this one is president or whatever in the world they want to be, or the first Mars colonist, although that kid's got to be a little bit older at this point. But just saying something, they strive for some sort of greatness.
Absolutely.
So I just saw that within this movie, and I reacted and bonded with it.
It's a great choice, and a lot of good actors in there. Alan Arkin,
Steve Carell, where he makes kind of a pivot and he can do drama.
Greg Kinnear, Toni Collette,
great.
Obviously Abigail Breslin, as you mentioned. So many good stuff, and of course it's like and Paul Dano. So they have to confront
early Paul Dano.
Yeah, early Paul Dano. They have to confront their stuff and confront their own issues as they're trying to help this girl, which is really funny because it's not like she's not being exposed to all their lunacy. Yeah. She is, so she could still very well come out of this just as fucked up as everybody else in the car.
She's a very mature little girl.
Exactly. But they do their best, and of course, Alan Arkin dies halfway through, or a quarter of the way through, or an hour, or whatever, on the way there.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So
I don't remember the minute mark.
So then she has to deal with that, So it's all of that. So yeah.
Well, I'd say you're right. Where she's like the only character left that's like not corrupted.
Yeah.
She is innocence, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She is,
and they're just trying to. You were right, like trying to like shape her in the right direction.
Give her something.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, she's more than likely going to find out that life is at times a pail of shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, this sucks. You're like, yeah, today sucks.
Yeah.
It happens. And it's not fun. We all got to deal with it. Can you basically just deal with it and get up tomorrow? Yeah. Like, that's life, unfortunately.
It's funny because it almost validates those moments when she has that, because she's seen her family go through it. And so it gives her like almost a primer of how to get out of it.
Yeah, she's got a blueprint.
Yeah, exactly. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is called The Straight Story.
Anybody that's a great film.
I've not seen it.
You've not seen it. You know what it's about?
I have no idea.
Okay.
David Lynch.
It's a David Lynch.
Yeah.
That's what you hear the first time you hear it, and you're like, hold on. David Lynch. Have you watched any David Lynch's?
Blue Velvet, right? Isn't that the David Lynch?
Yeah, there's Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
And basically he's just abstract for the sake of being abstract.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But he's good at it. And sometimes some people, I think, buy way more into it and trying to...
They really do.
Yeah, project meanings onto, the curtain moved like that because of... What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like, how many prescription pills and analogy sessions do you have to sit through where you view the world through this prism?
Yeah.
But he makes this really simple, straightforward movie. It's based on a true story where two brothers, they're kind of estranged from one another. And they grew up, they were thick as thieves. And then one day when they were adults, they just had it out over God knows what. And they were both heavy drinkers, and they said a bunch of stuff they just can't take back.
Yeah.
And they're old men now, and one has a stroke. And the other one lives in Iowa and Wisconsin, and he's got bad hips, so he needs 2 walkers. He won't take a walker, but he's got 2 canes to walk, and he can't see, so he has no driver's license. So the only thing he's got to run is a lawnmower. So he puts a hitch on his lawnmower, and this is a true story. Drives from Iowa to Wisconsin to see his brother because it's the only way he can get there. Because he wants to make this to show his brother, like, I want to build this bridge again and mend this fence. And you see that, and you're like, wow, it's such a simple story. The people that he interacts with as he's going through, and the whole time you're watching it going, David Lynch did this. Yeah. That's what makes it so impressive. It makes my list. David Lynch made a Disney movie. It's made by Disney, produced by...
I think it's G-rated, too.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
Because everything is like, gosh darn. Although they do talk about World War II and having to kill certain people. He ends up at a bar...
so maybe it is PG then.
I think it might be PG.
Yeah.
But it's David. So the whole time it's like, yes, it's a good movie, but the fact that it came from David Lynch, you just don't expect it, is always why it just stuck with me.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a surprisingly good movie. It's an interesting concept for a road trip.
Yeah, it's a good movie, and you're right. Everything Matt just said is correct. Like, it's so unusual that it's a David Lynch film. It was in contention to be on my list. I just like these other films just a bit more because it's fun to watch one straight story. It's not something I would revisit over and over again because you get the point. And actually, what's so amazing is I found this out in doing research for the show today. David Lynch shot it on location at every place that this guy went to. Yeah, he shot everywhere he shot was on the path that this guy actually took in real life to get to his brother. So
it's a great story.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
And the maudlin, like, cheesy parts.
Yeah.
there are some.
Yeah.
It's, it's a Disney film. You still have to go, David Lynch.
Yeah.
Shot this, set up the shots, storyboarded it, sat in the editing room. Just, wow, this is crazy. What else could this guy do?
Yeah.
Because he just made a by the book. Disney maybe helped like refine them going forward. Hey, this is how you make a live action now.
Yeah.
And still get your target demographic.
And what year was it from? Is it like early?
99?
Is it early? Oh, okay, that's
2000.
Yeah, something like that.
2001, something like that. Huh. I want to say 99 though.
Well, that's Scott Mance when we see him. Yeah. But yeah, and Richard Farnsworth is fantastic in that as the lead.
Yeah, it's great.
Yep. What's number 8?
My number 8 is Tommy Boy. Anybody?
Yes.
Should I punt or are we talking about it now? Is it in your bottom 5?
Oh, yeah. It's in my bottom 5.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Let's give me 2 times. Not on your list? Fat guy in a little coat.
Can I put it on my list? I want to put it on my list.
Did you forget about it?
No, I didn't forget about it. I took it off my list and put something else on.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I can be too highfalutin for my own good. That's the honest truth.
You gotta have fun. Movies are about fun.
I know, you're right. Fine. Okay, I'll put it at number 10. That's fine. I'm taking off number 10.
You're a good
I'm making
man.
an executive decision, and I'm putting Tommy Boy. And it doesn't mean
John
it'll make the list.
Is that we can do that?
Yeah, it's your list.
Oh, okay.
You do whatever you want.
You're still new. You're still new.
Oh, okay.
I can do that.
It's not set in stone until the list is said.
That's right.
It's a flexible, organic idea until then.
Okay.
And then you're locked in. And guess what? People may come at you like 2 years from now and go, I can't believe you like that movie. And you're like, after you've done 100 of these, you're like, I don't remember saying that, but okay.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
All right, fine. Somewhere different. Let's talk about it.
Just Chris Farley
Yeah.
at his height.
Yep.
You're like, I get it when you hear all the stories from the SNL guys going, no, he was the funniest dude in the room. You always wanted to be around him. He was a ball of energy and so much fun. I've heard stories about him that have been corroborated and disproved, or not disproved, but other people saying I was there and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like apparently, at SNL, because they're up in a high rise at 30 Rock, they have the windows that instead of going up and down, canter at an angle towards you, so you can't jump out of them, you can't commit suicide. So it goes from 90 degrees to like 45 degrees, but it just doesn't go up and down. And he sat over top of it and sat on the edge that comes onto the inside and took a poop, and it just like rolled off the side. But they're all like, it's 4 a.m. Like, I'm out of sketch ideas. I'm going crazy in here. Somebody, I bet you we can't get Farley to go do this. And he's hell yeah. Just like, so much fun. Like, oh my God, this guy sounds like a blast. I mean, cocaine will do that to you.
Yeah, true. True. And a lot of food.
Yeah, a lot of food.
No, but this chemistry with him and David Spade is fantastic throughout the movie. It's something that I like. I have a friend of mine, Marnie, who's she's a manager of bands in New York.
Yeah.
Me and her, we lived together for a while at Florida State with my other friend Matt, and this is a film that we watch religiously at college the whole time, and we would quote it to each other. We still will eventually, we'll go on these texting chains where we'll just randomly text a line from the movie to each other, and it's like an hour later, and we've like done the whole movie to each other. It's just brilliant, all of it. Is that a niner I hear in there? I can actually hear you getting fatter, the whole thing. And this whole thing is not so much here or here. It's more like this area that's the pain. And then, of course, Chris Farley is so just sweet, and really vulnerable in the movie. And he has that relationship with I forget the actress's name. She was in Doc Hollywood. He has that relationship with her, and that's like kind of giving him some kind of like depth of emotion. He's going against Rob Lowe, whose mom is Bo Derek, who was the stepmom to Brian
Rob
Dennehy.
Lowe's a great asshole.
Oh yes, fantastic,
great asshole.
Oh my God, so good. And then and then you have the whole interactions with the board of their auto company.
Aykroyd.
Yeah, Dan.
Yeah.
Well, that's Callahan, right?
Yeah,
Oh, no,
it's a
they're
different-
Callahan.
They're Callahan. It's a different company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it like? I
can't
forget
remember
what it's
the name
called.
of
But
it. You
Sandusky
remember?
or something like that.
No,
I have no idea. I
Okay.
just remember the commercials.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You remember the commercials? They say their name in the commercials.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this movie like just connects to me on a personal level. Okay. Also though, because I had a dad. Or yeah,
you had a dad.
You had it really?
No.
Shit. Do I have a brother? Oh man.
I just hope he's still
so
alive.
many revelations coming out right now.
I was lucky.
John, are we related? I don't know what's
lucky.
going on.
I was lucky enough to have a dad to show me this movie when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I just grew up with this, and I can. Chris Farley and my dad, I can just totally see them being best friends. And my dad I can see him doing the fat man in a little coat or whatever like that. That or the walking back. You know where the gym's at? Yeah. Is it gym this way?
And then strut away, the big boulder strut away.
The movie it's critically immune. I don't care what a critic says about it. It's a great movie.
Doesn't matter.
It's an SNL movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it has some problems.
But it's not though, because it's not an SNL character. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, so it lives in a
produced
separate,
by Lauren, but it's a different
wing of my brain of like it's not an SNL. It is. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
All the stupid things. The wind blowing his tooth.
Yeah.
You tell no, like no.
Yeah.
And when he gets the head up the ass T-bone line, the second when he finally gets it, you're like, hell yeah, that's a win. Spike the football.
No, but it lets Chris do all the crazy stuff, like when he's doing the car accident one. He's like, oh my god, he's throwing up on the side of all that, and it's like, get out. There's all these things that he does, but then when he eventually figures it out, you're behind him and championing him and all that stuff. And Dan Aykroyd does a great job in that part. Playing like that's something you do in his sleep. That kind of Chicago character.
Yeah.
It's so perfect. And so I just love all about it. It's eminently quotable, and that makes it amazing. Yeah. All right, that was your number 8.
That was my 8.
Okay, what's your 7?
My 7. I bet you most people would assume this is low for my list at 7. Vacation.
That we are punting like a motherfucker.
I'm punting on that as well.
Okay.
I'll tell you why once we get to it, but that's fine.
Sounds good.
At number 6, may not be on either of your lists.
Okay.
Dutch. Anybody? Anybody?
Jesus Christ.
Anybody? Never seen it?
Never seen it.
That's not on my list.
Ed O'Neill when I wasn't
it's not going to make our final list. I'll tell you that. Go ahead. Yeah.
Married with Children, I didn't watch. Ed O'Neill from Modern Family for the younger people.
I know you're talking about.
I didn't really watch. And this movie came out, and I was like, I don't really know anything about Ed O'Neill. Yeah. And he is so likable. He's dating this kid's mom. He goes to private school to pick him up.
Yeah.
And it's this just punk of a kid.
Yeah.
But you understand from the kid's perspective, his parents have split up.
Yeah.
And his dad is this rich asshole, and he's trying to emulate his dad, and he's siding with that dad and blaming the mom, but we as an audience like the mom.
Yeah.
So Ed O'Neill's dating the mom, and he goes to pick him up, and the kid is just a little shit.
Yeah.
From the moment you meet him, you're like, oh my God, this is like another comic I know. He's got like, you can't beat up your kids, but you need to have your kids beat up your kids.
Yeah.
So like regulators mount up. Like when one of them gets out of the line, you just tell the other one, you like, tee off, you can do this for me. Yeah. Just, tag them in. So the kid's never had any kind of buffer, and he just gets to do whatever he wants. And Dutch, Ed O'Neill, just like, no, you don't get to act like a jerk and just get away. I don't care. I don't care. I love your mom, not you. You got to prove yourself to me as the one that I like. Fuck off, kid. And it just, I buy everything about it. I love the movie. When I saw it in the theater, and I was like, I can't believe I enjoyed that movie that fucking much. And I've watched it, I don't know, like 15 times over the years.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it came out, what do you think, 94 or 5?
Yeah, something like that. What's the road trip? Where are they going to?
Somewhere on the East Coast to somewhere else on the East Coast.
And so it's a way of them getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And she sets it up so that they can get to know each other.
It is.
Right? Yeah.
So they can hopefully bond because it's important to her, even though her son doesn't currently like her, she still loves him, and she's assuming that he'll snap out of it and come back into the fold.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you like Ed O'Neill at all, you'll love this movie.
For that plot, he sounds like the perfect guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the gruff, stern,
but likable.
Yeah.
Especially at that time.
Yeah, and he also he takes it too far and realizes it.
Yeah.
And has to be like, I'm sorry, I wasn't an adult. I stooped to below your level.
Yeah.
And I apologize for that. Just like they both kind of mature.
Yeah.
And then get home, and there's it's just a great little couple hooks, but the final hook with Ed O'Neill and the kid, it's just great, and just boom, cut to black, done. You're like, what a great way to end this movie.
Wow.
Yeah. Enjoyed the hell out of it. That was my 6.
Okay. All right, so Gabe goes next?
No, you go next.
Oh, I go next.
We close with him.
All right, Gabe.
That's what we've done every guest
That
episode.
sounds good. All right, it's been a while.
Okay,
still get so number 10, Tommy Boy, definitely, as I said. My number 9 is the Blues Brothers.
Okay.
Anyone?
Nope.
Wow.
You already know I don't like that movie.
I don't understand. Yeah, I still can't.
Don't get it.
I was hoping maybe you'd revisit it.
Nope.
Listen,
Don't need to.
I fought against everything to put this on here. I absolutely love the fucking shit out of this movie. It's eminently rewatchable. I was even listening to Think as I was driving home from work before we recorded this podcast. It's such a great film for me. I enjoy the musical aspects of it. Ray Charles, John Lee Hooker, so many amazing people in this. Aretha Franklin, as I mentioned, and the way they all come together, the little jokes. This is one of those funny SNL films, I guess you could say that, because the Blues Brothers were created on SNL.
Kind of.
Yeah, and so it works for me. And all the thing, I mean, it's just ridiculous. James Brown. It's just all so ridiculous what happens in the film. But for whatever reason, I absolutely love it to pieces. Carrie Fisher is incredibly funny as this woman who's going after John Belushi because he stood her up at their wedding and all this. And so to me, just all of it, the progression, and they're all doing it for the good cause. It's terrible what they do to get this money to save the orphanage, but they do it. And then they lead up to this incredible concert at the end where they sing two of the greatest songs. And then Cab Calloway does Minnie the Moocher, all this stuff. It's just, to me, it has a magic and a fun from the 70s that for whatever reason hits all my enjoyable buttons. And I always watch it whenever it's on TV, just always watch it. And it's just something that and the road trip, other thing that happens on their road trip to get there is just brilliant.
You're not alone. Trust me, there are going to be people that felt that this should have been number one.
Yeah, probably. There probably are. All right, my number 8 is Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
We are punting. No. We are punting.
Didn't make my list. No.
I think you had to be of an age.
I thought about watching it, but I just passed. Look kind of scary.
I think even then it wouldn't have the effect on you.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to your list. All right. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Yeah, so we're waiting. So number 7 is when we say road trip, it doesn't matter what color the road is either. So my number 7 is The Wizard of Oz.
You motherfucker.
Oh my gosh. It did not.
Did we say a waltz? Like as a waltz down?
It's a road trip. They're going down a road, yellow brick road. It counts. It counts.
I mean, it's your list.
That's right.
You can do whatever you want with it.
That's right. I put it on there.
You turn into Jimmy the Greek for half a second there.
Let me tell you something,
it's my lock of the week.
Wizard of Oz. Take it with a point.
Fuck, they're laying points on Oz? Damn, what are they up against? I like those.
Don't ask me about it. I don't want to get fired.
You don't need details. Just trust me. Just take the points.
The Greek knows. All right, Wizard of Oz. Just you know what? I debated back and forth, but I'm like, it counts. It's a road trip. They're on a road the whole time.
I'm not gonna fight you.
Yeah, they're all the whole time. You got the Scarecrow, you got the Tin Man, you got the Cowardly Lion. Of course, just everyone who's seen it knows it's a classic, and it still holds up. I mean, it's still something that I watch every once in a while. Mm-hmm. The songs are great. The camaraderie, the friendship, the lessons it's supposed to teach you still works very much so. And I love the juxtaposition of the sepia tone start to where you get into the color, the opening of it and the color, and then when it gets to Emerald City and everything happens, and even the darkness of the flying monkeys and the Wicked Witch, they don't pull any punches in this film, and at moments it's very unsettling how dark they go, but it works. And then of course it's also once again this betrayal of a person in power, right? The wizard is supposedly this person. It's almost an allegory to God, the religion, it's supposed to give me these things, but when you look behind the curtain, it's actually all false. And so there's so much about that can be looked at and analyzed in this film. It's not just a kid's film. There's so much going on here that have adult themes and adult investigations of these tenets of our society, these constructs that we've followed all along, these institutions, and it destroys a lot of it as it goes along, Mm-hmm. And so I think it's incredibly, it's a surprisingly subversive film, and so that's why I enjoy watching it over and over again.
Okay, so aren't there villagers hung in the background?
Yeah, on the trees.
I think that was dispelled. It's not real,
villagers?
but that's the wives' tale.
Well, it wasn't villagers. It was actually
it was one of the flying monkeys, I believe.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. So then my number 6 is The Muppet Movie.
Has a tough omission.
Wow.
Yeah.
Same here.
Once again,
what the fuck?
There's a lot of choices.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of choices. Had I had your definition, maybe Flight of the Navigator makes it. You know what I mean? They're taking a road trip through space and time.
Oh, no. That's going too far.
Oh, sure. Somebody's got rules for his list all of a sudden.
There's no actual road.
Yeah, I didn't realize we could, be free with the definition. You took a more quantum approach.
I did.
There are a lot more probabilities involved here.
A little Dean Stockwell. That's right. It's a quantum. Okay, the Muppet movie. If you haven't seen it, what the hell is wrong with you? Go back and rent it, watch it, see it. We covered it on the Cinephiles with one of the puppeteers from Jim Henson.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's in charge of the puppets, and he also puppeteers whenever they have Muppets do stuff like on the TV show, when they were doing it on ABC recently, and then other appearances with the Muppets. So he was he went incredibly deep and in depth on all the history of it all. So it's so great. And the movie itself is just something that always puts a smile on my face, always makes me feel good. And it's a great progression of this whole friendship between Kermit and Fozzie, and then Miss Piggy getting involved, and all the people they pick up along the way. And it's about friendship and about accepting each other being different, and knowing that if you just want to make it, like it's pursuing your dreams. That's what this whole film is about. He's a frog on a stump, and he's got this ability to play. Then who was it? Is it Dom DeLuise that shows up, and then of course he's being chased by these people.
Of course, it's Dom DeLuise.
Of course, it is
if it wasn't, it should have been.
That's right. Paul Williams. You have so many great cameos. Orson Welles.
Yeah, Paul Williams wrote at least one good song for that movie.
I think he wrote Rainbow Connection.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
but he may have written others on the soundtrack.
Yeah, maybe Moving Right Along, which is one of my favorites as well. But all of it it's just, the theme is just basically about.
It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah, accepting people for who they are, and helping them pursue their dreams and making it happen. And so it's so great and such a wonderful film. And if you haven't seen it, get off your ass and go see it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to it, Gabe.
Let's get a new guy. What do you got?
Right.
What do you got? 10.
Number 10 was Tommy Boy.
Okay.
So we already talked about it, so just move on, right?
Yeah, we'll move on.
Okay.
We're good to go.
So my number 9 is A Perfect World.
Oh, wait a minute. The Clint Eastwood one?
Yes. Clint Eastwood,
now, what's
Kevin
the road
Costner.
trip there?
He kidnaps the kid.
Right.
And it's a road trip across Texas.
Okay.
He's trying to get out. He's trying to go to Alaska.
Yeah.
But
to escape.
He lies to the cops, says he's trying to go to Mexico
Right.
in the end, something like that. It's a very good movie.
Wow. Who's
I
the
haven't
kid? Do you
seen
remember
that
who the
since
kid
it
is?
came out.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen it a couple times, but I agree with you. It's not one that I go back to all the time.
Yeah.
I forgot it existed until you said it. I was like, oh, yeah.
I rented it last week, and
wow.
I really liked it a lot. And the only reason it wasn't higher is because I already had road trip movies, so many more movies ahead of it, just because, and it's so recent on my mind still. But Clint Eastwood did a really good job. I like him as a director. He's a pretty good director.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. When he knows, when he gets into a script that he knows how to do.
Yeah.
And Kevin Costner is great in that movie, playing the father role for the kid. He doesn't have a. He's what's his religion? I forgot.
I don't remember. I just remember what is it? A wheat field. At the end of it, it's like a long grass, tall grass, and there's like the amber kind of hue. Right. It's like this really beautiful scene.
Yeah, it's the villain from Billy Madison is like the sniper guy who shoots him.
Oh wow,
Bradley Whitford.
Yeah, that guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow, I don't even remember that.
Yeah,
Once again, I have not seen this since it came out.
He's very hateable in that movie.
He played an asshole really well.
Yeah, he does the job well.
Until West Wing, he was a bad guy in pretty much
an asshole.
most of his movies. Yeah. How interesting.
Yeah, but the whole road trip is it's really great because it's like some criminal who's kidnapping a 6-year-old child, and like you would think that there would be no bond there. Just why did you take me?
Right.
What is wrong with you? But he, in his religion, he's always been like held back by his mom, everything like that. He's never had cotton candy. He's never had dessert.
Right.
Never been to the fair. Tells Kevin Costner all of this. He's like, "What is wrong with your mom?"
Yeah.
And he shows him a good time. Going across the country. Yeah, it was a pretty good movie. I liked it.
Well, I imagine they bond because, one, Costner breaks him out of his rigid rules, but also the kid teaches Costner, like, just being a rebel doesn't necessarily mean you're a good person either.
Yeah.
Because you took it too far, which is why you became a criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great... Okay, cool.
All right, what you got next?
My number 8 is Joyride.
Joyride?
Joyride.
Really?
I have a soft spot for that movie.
I think that's more than a soft spot. That's like an abyssal spot.
I love that movie. I love it. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Look, you defend your list. Just know that your list is wrong, my friend.
For those that don't know, who's the stars?
Paul Walker, Steve Zahn. That's... okay.
This is the last time.
Defend away.
This is the last time
defend away.
Family member years.
Defend myself.
You know what? You earned that. You earned that, John. That's fine. You're skating on my reputation now too, you son of a bitch.
Paul Walker he's Paul Walker in that movie.
Yeah, well, he's Paul Walker in everything.
Yeah, that's all he knows how to do is Paul Walker.
No offense to Paul
Walker. But I mean, I feel like that's prime Paul Walker right there. Okay. I think it's either right before Fast and Furious or after. I don't know.
I don't know, brother.
It's
That's your
around
generation.
that time.
All right.
But it's just I watched it when I was a little kid. It's like my first like R-rated thriller. It's my first movie I've ever watched with Steve Zahn and Paul Walker.
Wow.
Or for either of them.
Right.
And I really like Steve Zahn. I think he's a great actor. Oh. And he's really funny in that movie.
You should see the new Apes movie. He does a great job.
Yeah, we saw
that.
Well, you did.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's good in that.
Yep.
And I don't know. I like the whole candy cane. Candy cane. He just says that, everything. It's a scary movie. Like,
sure.
I would never mess with a trucker after watching that movie.
Yeah, period. You should never mess with a trucker, period.
I mean, listen, don't look to me for help. I'm gonna let you exist with your opinion. Your opinion is not wrong.
Right. That's right, Gabe.
To you, it is not wrong. It is right in the universe of Gabe. You earned that right.
I'm not backing down. I love that movie.
There you go.
Good for you.
Go for it.
Good for you,
Spider. Good for you.
We're going to revisit this topic in 10 years.
All right.
And I can't wait to have this conversation with you again.
That's
I
right.
can't believe I fucking joyride.
I'll be right there.
Even sniff my list.
I can't believe it's permanently on
so far,
the podcast.
you're 2 for 3, but the other two choices are solid as all.
Yeah. All right. What's your next one?
Listen, I got Dutch. You've never seen that, you know?
This is probably going to be higher on your list.
Okay.
Don't judge me.
It's what we're here to do. You can't tell us not to do.
Yeah, it's our job.
Yeah.
I'm going to just go ahead and say it's number 7 is Thelma and Louise.
Not on my list.
Oh, really?
We're going to punt.
You are.
We're going to punt.
All right.
Yep.
I thought that would be way higher on
I had
your
a hard
list.
time leaving that off, but it's not one I go back to and watch all the
Yeah.
time. So,
I'll explain why.
okay.
I mean, it's...
Well, you can't talk about it. If we're punting, we're punting.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
okay,
punting,
I'm
we're punting.
sorry.
So you got to
Okay.
move on.
You can
My
move
bad,
on to your
sorry.
next one.
Okay, so my number 6 is Sideways.
Ooh, that's a great choice, man.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it since I saw it.
And I personally don't. I couldn't put it on my list because we lost a showdown match because we couldn't answer that fucking question at the end. And what's his
Because
face did.
neither of us had, I don't...
Yeah, none
have
of
you
us
seen
had
it
watched
since?
it. I've watched
Yeah.
it once since out of anger,
Not even.
but like
Not even.
Yeah,
Like
but it's a great choice.
Yeah, it's a very good movie.
Yeah.
I just watched it. Did it get Best Picture? Or was it nominated?
It was nominated.
It was nominated, and I think Thomas Hayden Church and maybe Giamatti were both nominated as
Yeah.
well for...
And I think
Sandra Oh.
I think Sandra Oh was nominated.
Yeah.
Too, yeah.
One of the three may have won, but I don't think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Paul Giamatti and Thomas Hayden Church in that movie, they are excellent.
They are.
Yeah.
Like, both of them are. Thomas Hayden Church is so good at playing a douchebag.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he
a
was-
douchebag actor. Like,
He was
it's-
Lowell until then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's literally like he's playing himself. Like he's so good at it. Like he just showed up and didn't even have to work. And just the fact
kinda
that
scary, isn't it?
Yeah, just the fact that he's so okay with cheating on his wife
Yeah.
with like multiple women. It's just like he does it so well to
Yeah.
where you're like you kind of try to defend him a little bit because he's not a hateable character. Like you kind of like him a little
Right.
bit.
Well,
And then
there's a reason he's getting these women. He has
Yeah.
charm.
Yeah.
So he's willing, like, if he can get them, he can charm us as an audience. And eventually we just see it so many times, we're like, well, the charm is lost on me
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And Paul Giamatti, that's probably honestly probably one of my favorite performances from him ever is that movie. He's so vulnerable and insecure, and just to see him finally succeed with a woman in the end of the movie is just like it made me feel good inside.
Yeah.
It felt really nice, and just like he plays a good drunk when he talks about his wife, everything like that. Like I don't know, he killed it. That's all I can say.
Yeah. And there's great resolution. I mean,
Yeah, there
when he
is.
has that scene with
it's
his
a good
wife
ending.
who's moved on, like, because the reason he took this trip is to kind of process the end of his marriage.
Don't even remember.
Oh, yeah.
You said that and I went, and I was like,
And probably the funniest scene in that movie, and I don't know if you guys remember this. You guys just watched this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I watched this last week.
Yeah.
Is when Thomas Hayden Church, it's his last affair on his wife, and he forgets his wallet in the girl's room.
Yep.
Paul Giamatti has to sneak in there, and instead of crawling, he straight up runs in there, grabs it, runs out of the house.
And he's having sex. The guy is having sex with his wife.
like role playing to the Thomas Hayden Church cheating on him.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, you're gonna cheat on me again? It's disturbing, but it was
Relationships are
very
weird.
funny.
Relationships are weird, Gabe. That
Yeah.
shit happens as you get older.
Yeah.
You'll find out as you get older, Gabe.
Yeah.
It's some
People are weird.
shit.
people are weird.
Yeah, but
it's great,
seeing
movie.
MC Gainey's cock just swinging in the wind and he's running after the car is just brilliant.
it
just
was-
brilliant.
I think that should be the description of this show. Just put that in for this one right below on YouTube and on iTunes when you click on it for just the definition of the show. Cock just swinging in the air. Top 10 with our special guest, Gabe Knost.
There we go.
Swing away, buddy.
I love that director too,
Yeah.
Alexander Payne.
Yeah,
'Cause
Alexander Payne's great.
he did Election.
And Descendants.
Yeah.
I love Election.
Yep.
I think it's a hilarious movie.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's got its moments. I like it a
Yeah.
lot. I think, but Descendants.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. Early on
That's
when we
the
talked
best.
Descendants, I almost started tearing up
Yeah.
when we did a show, and that just
Yeah.
came up on my list, and
Yeah.
just like it took me to a place.
Yeah. It's a great
Wow,
film.
It
Yeah,
is.
you did an excellent job.
Okay. What's your number 5, man?
All right.
Oh, was that your 6?
Yeah, that was my 6.
Okay, that was your 6.
Okay,
All right.
so now
So we do the next 3,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. All
So
right.
mine is just a punt, but it was in the next section.
Okay.
Thelma and Louise.
Okay, go ahead.
Kind of surprised it didn't make it.
I know, I really tried, and I don't want to seem like a misogynist. It's just a film that doesn't
Okay.
like, I know people love it and people like it. It's not one I go back to, but I respect its legend. I respect why it's such a cultural touchstone for a lot of female film fans, and of course male film fans as well. Like you guys have it on your list, but for whatever reason, it's not a film that I gravitate to or enjoy or watch over and over again. And it's not because I didn't enjoy it the first time. It's just not something I'd run back to.
Yeah.
But I respect it. So this is where the decision comes between, should I put it on the list because it should be on the list or because I like the film, and there's the difference. And unfortunately, that one got caught in the between.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put it on.
I mean, I think it automatically made the discussion for my list just because when I thought road trips for this topic, I was like, well,
Yeah.
Thelma and Louise
Yeah.
and this and this and
Yeah.
this. Now it just comes down to where. Just because to see this kind of story from a female's perspective is great because you just don't see that in
Yes.
movies all that often. So
Agreed.
it's kind of cool to see the other side of this coin.
Yeah.
Because we've seen,
Oh, yeah.
we've seen the other quite a few times
Yeah,
in different
numerous
variations, in different combinations, like 2 guys, 3 guys, 7 guys, different races. They're
Right.
running from something, they're running towards something. To see a different perspective and one that, people can identify with at different points. Hopefully not all of it.
Yeah.
Hopefully they haven't been in.
Yes.
Yeah. Because that means, you're basically from like last week's leaving Las Vegas. You're in a place that's just like, man, life sucks.
Yeah.
Just consistently, if you live through a number of these same episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, just when the idea of road trip movies came up, it's like, boom.
Yeah, well, I see where you're coming from,
Yeah.
where you left off. My first time watching it was last week, and honestly, halfway through the movie, it wasn't doing it for me.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where I was already enough to where I need to finish the movie. So
Yeah.
I'm still wide. I can't just stop watching it. But honestly, what put it on my list is probably the ending.
Okay.
I had no idea that was going to happen.
Oh, really? You hadn't heard?
I had no
Oh.
idea. And
Yeah, I mean,
it
it's
was
a spoiler
very
alert
surprising.
from 25 years
Yeah.
ago.
That's great.
What
Yeah.
year did that come out? 1990 what?
Yeah, early 91, 94, 92, 93, something like that.
Yeah.
Early
I mean,
90s.
it started getting a little bit more exciting anyways, like leading up to that
Yes.
point. But I just thought it would go down and maybe like just a shootout or something
Yeah.
like that. I just did not expect them to hold hands and drive straight off the cliff. I mean, it was a cool ending. Like
Yeah.
that's what kind of it gave me goosebumps. Kind of like that's just like a really well done ending, and it just crawled its way up my list just because
It's a beautiful
of that.
moment.
I respect that, yeah. All right.
All right, so my number 4 is a punt from earlier as well. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
So let's talk it up,
All right,
my
let's
friend.
do it.
This is if you haven't seen this, I hope you get it.
Yeah.
I do. Because Pee-wee's hard to explain.
He is.
Like, he just kind of came out of nowhere, and I was a kid when the Saturday morning cartoon came out. And for whatever reason, it's one of those things of, it was a thing before it was a thing, so it was a thing because of that.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
You kind of knew it was coming before there was internet and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but me and all my friends, my entire school knew it, and everybody was kind of watching Pee-wee on Saturday mornings,
Yeah.
and they made a movie, and the movie was... basically just gave him a budget and you can tell whatever story you want to, and he tells this really weird, super weird, but interesting. Like, he interacts with all these stupid characters and goes to the Alamo, and Large Marge may or may not be.
Marge.
Yeah. Tell him Large Marge sent you. And like the dancing with the shoes.
Yeah,
that
tequila.
shouldn't work.
Yeah.
His bike got stolen, so
Yeah.
the arc of the story is he's trying to just get the bike back because this is his favorite possession. It's almost what defines him as a person on some
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
And so he's just chasing that the whole time. It's so excellent.
It is, and it's so much fun to see Paul Rubens explore the character and
Yep.
pull him out of the playhouse,
Yeah.
and put him out on the road. And it's really difficult to create scenarios and write scenes that are coherent and have a through line and work and connect and still be outlandish and ridiculous and crazy, but also give them a lot of heart. The sequence he has with the waitress, when they're out there on
Yeah.
the hood, like staring up
Looking
at
up
the
at the
stars,
stars.
yeah, talking about their lives, like all of that is sweet. Then you juxtapose that with Large Marge stuff, which is brilliant. But then he has, what's the kid, Fester or whatever the guy?
Yeah, the fat, just aristocratic kind of guy's son,
Yeah.
and he's spoiled as all hell. He's got his own personal, like half the size of an Olympic swimming pool,
Yeah.
in his right next to his bedroom, and Pee-wee likes to mess with him.
Yeah.
It's great. He goes to the magic shop and he gets him this gum, and Francis, that's what
Francis,
it is.
that's it,
Francis,
yeah,
the
yeah.
person named Francis.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you got some gum? I'll take some gum, and it turns his drool all black.
Yeah.
And then he chews gum I've never seen a person chew gum. It just starts pouring out of his mouth. And you're like, he doesn't notice that. Maybe it's because he's wet right now. I don't know. But yeah, like you were saying, like I guess I didn't think of it like that at the time. How do you take a character like this that exists in this insane Saturday morning world and stretch out a 90-minute, hour, 45-minute, movie and it actually has a great through line, good story, characters you identify with no matter how weird they are, like lovable story, charm.
Yeah, all of that, and and it's something that all of us can relate to. He's going after his bike that got stolen. Like I think a majority of us who've ever had a bike have had their bike stolen at one point or another. So it's something you can relate to, and it's such an interesting and exquisite bike. Obviously, the bike is symbolism for other things, and so, but you can still connect to that story at a most basic point. You don't have to necessarily get as deep within the symbolism, but what I enjoy about it too, he has that relationship with Dottie, and he's like, I'm a rebel, Dottie. There's all this stuff that he does that it endears him to you, and so that when they do the film version with James Brolin and Morgan Fairchild and what have you, all of that just so earned to see that ending.
He's the bellhop.
Yeah.
You know how Pee-wee talks?
Yeah.
So then he has one line and comes in, is it a room number?
Yeah.
Or something, it's just like, room 27. And you're like, it's just a stupid throwaway, funny moment in a movie that is just absurd and somehow works.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so what do you got, 5?
That was your 3?
That was my 4.
Okay, so you do 3. Don't we do that? Or do we do...
Are we doing bottom 3?
Yeah, I thought we were doing the next 3.
I said 2, but we can do bottom 3.
2
That's fine. I don't care.
Okay.
You want to do 3?
Yeah.
My number 3 then is Rain Man.
That's my number 3.
Is it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so if that's higher on my list, we would punt.
You tell them, we punt.
If it's way higher on your list.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Gabe. Respect.
Let us know what we're talking about here.
All right, Gabe. So then...
both our voices got high for no reason.
That's how you want to play that game. All right, my number 5 then is Midnight Run.
We are punting.
Ooh, Matt Knost.
We are punting.
I had a feeling, Matt Knost.
It's not on your list.
It's not on your list, is
Nah,
it,
I
Gabe?
missed it by this much. I like the movie.
Oh, yeah?
I like it a lot, yeah. I
Would you
love Robert
believe?
De Niro in that.
I love that movie.
Number 4, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
We are punting again.
What?
We are punting
Damn, this
again.
is madness. I love this. I already said my number 3 is Rain Man, so Gabe, get to it.
We got 5.
My number 5
Joyride 2.
Number 5.
The rare sequel is better than the original.
The Reckoning.
Number 5 is Zombieland.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it's in my honorables, but it didn't make my list.
Yeah.
It is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
Okay.
I'm not really a Jesse Eisenberg fan, but when he's good in movies, he's good in movies.
Yeah.
And he's pretty. Him and Woody Harrelson have such good chemistry in that movie.
Yeah.
Which is like, who would ever see that coming?
Yeah.
It's just like Woody Harrelson and Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, I would never see it coming. Abigail Breslin is also in that movie. She's
Yep.
funny. Emma Stone's in it.
Mm-hmm.
She's all right.
Not a big Emma Stone fan?
No, I mean I like her. I mean she's been better in other stuff, I guess.
Damn, Gabe. All right.
But
It's fine. Look, I'm not gonna attack you on it. But I thought she was perfectly fine.
Just like I think she's probably better in other movies.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair. All right.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna fight you on that.
Yeah, the Bill Murray cameo kind of makes the movie funny.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
It's so funny.
100%.
Just the putting on the makeup and surprising Jesse Eisenberg. It's just such a bad joke at a bad time.
Yeah, at the wrong time, but it works so perfectly for that film.
Yeah.
And so...
And it's Woody Harrelson's favorite actor. And
Yeah.
he sees him killed in front of him. after going through so much just traumatic stuff, just to see your favorite actor shot down with a sawed-off shotgun in front of you. But
it's his own fault because he was pulling that trick on everybody, which you would expect Bill Murray to do.
Yeah, I mean,
which is brilliant.
They were
meta.
smoking some weed before too.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That probably had something to do with it. But yeah, it's a great movie. Not many scenes like in the car with everyone, but I mean they're traveling across.
They are, yeah. No, it totally fits. I'm not gonna.
trip.
They don't have to be inside the damn thing. We know they're moving.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were doing a zombie list, it would probably be my top 2.
Wow.
Probably.
Strong statements.
Okay. I mean, I could think of a couple others that on mine, but it's in the discussion.
I just think it does comedy and horror and just so well together for that movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you at all. It's a great, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
just a lot of fun.
It really is.
It is on a genre that I almost felt was tired.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the only reason. Once again, it's not one that I go watch it over and over again. The Bill Murray scene, absolutely, but everything else is kind of like, okay, it's cool, and but the ending is good. The ending is a great battle at that carnival. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
There's just a lot of them in like a 4-year sequence.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm kind of zombie
You're
out.
right. Zombied out.
Yeah.
That was your number 4 or 5?
That was my number 5.
Okay,
Okay, what do you got for?
And I think we punted on.
Okay.
Number 4 is National Lampoon's Vacation.
We're still punting.
We're still punting.
We're still punting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a distinct feeling it's right near the top of somebody's list.
What's your number 3?
Number 3 is Dumb and Dumber.
Oh,
I wanted to.
Seriously?
I know.
Both of you?
Yeah.
It's like the first 40% of the movie they're on the road, and then it turns into a we're in Aspen.
Yeah. That's
movie.
why I didn't include it.
Yeah, trust me, I want to. That's one of my favorite comedies of all time.
Are you considering it not a road trip movie then?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because like the first 30 to 40% is when they're on the road, and then it stops.
Yeah.
And then they're in Aspen.
So do I need to pick something else?
No.
No, it's your list. I'm not going to fight you on it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It wasn't long enough in the trip part of it for us.
I just think, obviously, the sequel was. I mean, no one really talks about.
Well, let's not even.
Let's not even talk about it. Let's talk about
But-
the gem.
Yeah, but I mean, the original Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, like, it's just who saw that coming for Jeff Daniels, and I mean, it's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I would
Hands down.
Yeah, probably top 5.
Yeah.
Just how stupid can people be? Like, especially for them. Like, you would think there'd be a limit, but there's just not.
Yeah.
And it's still funny. It's not like it's.
There's so many throwaway moments. Big gulps, huh?
Yeah.
Well, see you later. And you're like, why did this have to be in the movie? So great. When he comes back and he's lost the car and he's just got that tiny little leg, and he flips his hands to like uncrease his jacket and throw off this. Like, what is it? I get 70 miles to the gallon on this hog or something? Maybe it's 90. Just like the cockiness in him. Oh. He's like, now, Harry, why are your hands so cold? Like, your hands are freezing because you've been wearing 2 pairs of gloves and Harry doesn't have any gloves.
Oh, most of it was improvised, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I guess a lot of it is.
I know the most annoying sound in the world, that was improvised.
Oh,
yeah.
And I mean, that's one of the funniest.
And the ending.
Yeah.
Oh, the ending is?
The ending where he's just like,
yeah.
No, you can find 2 guys next town. That's not how the movie ended. You're like, it has to end like that, where these characters are still so stupid that this opportunity lands in their bag, and you're like, you guys are in luck.
Yeah.
There is a town 2 miles away, and you're like, this is fucking brilliant, this movie.
I love the throwaway line when he's like to the old lady when he goes into the room. Like, don't you go dying on me now.
I still use that. I still use that at the worst times too, because no one ever laughs. Whoever you're like saying it to, they're like, "What? Okay, never mind. Doesn't matter."
I have a soft spot for Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
So,
you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
I love him to no end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, even some of his dramatic stuff is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, it's so legend too. Like the shit scene with Jeff Daniels is legend. The whole thing with. So you're saying there's a chance? Like all of there's all this stuff that happens between
him almost throwing up when he sees her with Harry. I still do this to this day. It's just like it's building, and you feel it too as you're watching. You're like, oh my god, he's gonna throw up. He's gonna throw up.
Yeah.
Oh, just
or him being at the bar, being at the bar, or at the bar at like 6 a.m. or something like that,
throwing out the vibe. Yeah, just. It's like, butt perked.
I'm meeting someone here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When he's dusting her off.
Yeah.
That's so good. No, we've landed on the moon. Everybody, I know that was an improv line. Yeah. Seeing that and being like, did you fucking see this? Oh my god, my day has just gotten amazing.
And then beating each other to death. And
that's an IOU. That's as good as cash. You might want to hold on to that one. That one's for, what was it, a Lamborghini?
Yeah, Lamborghini.
God, that movie.
All right.
I just wish it was 80% driving. Yeah. 70%. I would happily put it as number 1.
Agreed. All right. So we're on to your number 2, Matt?
Yeah, my 2 is a punt from earlier Planes, Trains.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's awesome. Have you ever seen it?
I have. I've seen the ending. I know. I've seen clips of the part where Steve Martin goes off on the airplane attendant.
Oh yes,
or the airport.
Yeah.
There's the part. It's the rental car attendant. Yeah.
I mean, it looked funny.
It's the best is when it gets to the end, like you buy.
Yeah.
They've come to understand. Like when Steve Martin finally realizes, like, I have to go back.
Yeah.
That's what makes me love that movie. It's a great road trip. There's a lot of those aren't pillows.
Right.
There's a lot of great, moments and funny moments in that. But when he goes back, he just gives it a level of heart, which is tough to do in all these, where you have that sense of connection to these characters, but still are laughing along. But you also cringe when they attack each other too hard and be like, you're both likable people. Why don't you just like each other?
Right.
We see the best parts of you. So please reach out to one another, because we know this can work. And when they finally do and they pivot at the end, just like this movie is so amazing.
And you don't see it coming.
No.
Right? Because John Candy, this is my favorite performance of him in any movie, bar none.
Yeah.
Including Uncle Buck or these other performances that he gave in other movies. This is just the most fully realized. Like he is so painfully broken, and you can't tell until the end. He has those moments with Steve Martin. And Steve Martin is one of those prissy guys who's like, he decides who's in his world, who's not in his world. He immediately judges this guy as lesser than, therefore he treats him as such. But this guy keeps showing up and saving him, keeps showing up and helping him.
Shows the generosity of his spirit.
Exactly.
What Steve Martin is missing.
Exactly.
It's just a common bond with your fellow man of like, listen, you're a person, I'm a person. We should just be, especially as you're trying to get home to see loved ones at the holidays.
Yeah.
And and Steve Martin's, he's the less likable of the two. Just like, why aren't you just, if you were a little bit nicer, the rest of the world would be a lot nicer to you.
Yeah.
But if you give them frost, then they're going to hit you in the face, right back.
It's this whole idea of privilege. Like he thinks everything, like he thinks he deserves the highest of everything, right?
Yeah.
The highest taste of everything. But when he gets down in the situation, he can't figure out how to get home. He can't figure out how to get home. And Del Griffith helps him in every situation. And the reason he helps him, like Matt said, it's generosity of spirit, but it's also a lesson to him. To keep telling him, like keep showing him over and over again. Yeah, you aren't going to get everything the way you want it.
No.
Yeah, he takes his socks off in the plane. Yes, he sings "Meet the Flintstones" on the bus. He does weird shit, but he's also always trying to save. Yeah. All of that. He does all of that to show you that he needs connection, human connection too. He's been alone, like without his wife Marie. I mean, that's
for like 8 years.
8 years, right? That scene when they're out, when he is sitting outside the hotel room because he can't purchase a hotel room, and Steve Martin with still the arrogance to leave him sitting out there in a burnt out car that was his fault. But like he wouldn't have any chance to get home if it wasn't for this guy.
No.
And Steve Martin is willingly putting himself in these situations too. So when he invites him in, he has the conversation with him. It's just a sweet moment. But when Candy is out there with his arms folded, he goes, "You're right, Marie. My mouth did it again. I don't know when I'm ever going to learn." No. It's so sweet, because
he's talking to her as if because she does. She's still in his mind. Yeah, and he just wants that bond back.
Yeah, so when it comes to that ending scene in the train, station, it's just so beautiful, man. Because he says, my wife's been dead. And then the exhilarating music, every time you go away when they're walking down the street. It is my Thanksgiving staple. Every morning, Thanksgiving morning before the NFL games start, I put that movie on and just smile.
Oh, wow, that's
like
commitment. It's excellent.
I love it. All right, that was your number 2?
That was my 2. What you got?
Vacation.
Got you. It was a punt for me.
Yeah?
Didn't make your list, right?
No, it was my number 4.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is your number what?
4.
4. All right. So Vacation.
I just, the thing is, Christmas is my all-time favorite of the Vacation.
Yes.
So
really?
This one just comes down. Christmas is so.
I know people.
To me, that's the best.
I know. I'm with you, Blake. I'm with you.
I like this Vacation, but they're also like when they pull into East St. Louis and the black guys steal the hubcaps and be like, "This is racist as shit." Like they know that it's tongue in cheek, but even the caricature of the racism is still like, "You guys."
That's fair. I think that's a fair point.
Yeah, it's just something. Even at the time, it didn't sit well with me. I was like, and it still doesn't.
Yeah. Well, I just love the camaraderie. It's Chevy Chase once again at one of his best films ever made, and he has the connection with Beverly D'Angelo and of course Anthony Michael Hall, like all the great situations. And then Randy Quaid. I mean, his daughter like mixing the iced tea with her arm, like all of it. It's just kind of nutty.
That? And then she walks away and he just grabs the spoon that is sitting on the table next to it. Yeah. The big wooden spoon, and puts it in and he just starts stirring away. Like, I'm not saying the movie's bad.
Yeah, I know.
Christmas does it for me.
I just love to bring all of this to the trip, and then of course Wally World and everything that happens at Wally World. Yeah. But it's everybody can relate. Everybody who's had a family in America can relate, or a family anywhere, I guess, can relate to the situation where the dad is just so stupid and wants to do everything and wants to be in charge of everything and get everything in motion, and he just keeps messing it up over and you got to deal with it as the family, God bless Beverly D'Angelo's character. She just completely keeps loving him through all his stupidity, but Chevy is so great playing this kind of part. And you're right. But Christmas Vacation, one of the funniest moments ever in Christmas Vacation is when he puts that stupid smile on his face as he turns the car into the truck, underneath the semi, or whatever, the 18-wheeler.
Just kind of absent-mindedly, like they end up there and they're kind of shocked, like he didn't know how he got there, as if they time traveled or something. Like suddenly I'm like, how did this? The tree going up and it's too big for the house. When they unfurl, it's poof, it just knocks out a bunch of goes through the roof and kicks crap into Julia Louis-Dreyfus's house. Yeah. But at this one, it's great.
Yeah.
The thing that just makes the movie for me is the ending when they finally get to Wally World and it's closed.
Yeah.
And what they go to the sporting store, right? And he buys a fake gun, and he goes back, holds John Candy up. They go on the rides. John Candy's sitting there all nervous
because he can't. He doesn't like to do roller
coasters. He's not supposed to enjoy this. I shouldn't be enjoying this. I'm not getting paid right now to enjoy this.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Oh, it's a great movie.
Yeah, it's an excellent movie. I always think of now like the last presidential cycle, 2 cycles ago with Mitt Romney when they tied the dog.
Yeah.
To the top of the car and people got upset. My first thought was Clark Griswold when the cop pulls him over and it's just the leash is back there. And it's just it's such a great oh fuck, the dog? The dog. Totally forgot the dog was in the car. Was not in the car. Like getting when the car gets compacted and him and Russ walk back to it and he's just like he tries to open the door. It just like 3 seconds. Like, what is my car? What happened? It's flat. Just like I'm a sucker for Chevy Chase.
Yeah, I know you are. I know you are.
Yeah, it's an excellent choice. It's just Christmas for me.
Gotcha. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Rain Man.
Okay. All right, that was for me.
That was my number 3.
Go for it.
Okay. I love this movie.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I watched this about 2 years ago. I just watched it recently about a month ago. Mm-hmm. I love early Tom Cruise. He's pretty great when he's young.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good now, but there's just something about him, when he's younger. He's super charming.
Just gotta, trust me.
This reels me in.
You're talking to a Tom Cruise fan club, and that he could be president. At least in this room.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter how douchey he gets in that movie. Like, I want to like him. Mm-hmm. And how he treats his brother, he kind of treats him bad at first, but then...
Kinda.
Yeah, I mean, just...
Kinda.
As their bond grows, though, I don't know, it just connects to me in a way. Mm-hmm. And I just think of me and my brother and everything like that. Like, I don't know. Dustin Hoffman in that movie is amazing.
Yeah.
He's amazing. And what does he have again? I forgot.
Asperger's.
Oh,
autistic. I'm sorry, he's autistic.
Yeah,
he's autistic? Okay.
But it's like the
Savant.
One end of the spectrum, like hardcore.
And just Tom Cruise finds out his niche is was it blackjack?
Yeah.
Once
cards.
So the bank has come back to repossess him because he took out a loan to bring those exotic cars in, and then they wouldn't pass inspections, so he couldn't get them out to the customers to get the money back to then pay the bank back. So his whole world is basically kind of like he's juggling and he loses a bunch of money. So then he takes his brother to Vegas and was like, "We got this."
And that movie did come out in the 80s. Right? Yeah. And the soundtrack is 80s, everything like that. I mean, it is. I love 80s movies, but that's one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies. It would probably go up there with Risky Business for me.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
I love that movie.
What about Top Gun?
This is how much he loves it. Watch this.
I've never seen Top Gun.
Watch this. Gabe, how many pens are on the floor? He counted that instantly. He's just holding that back because he doesn't want to show off right now to those at home. Boom, this kid. I'm with you, though. This movie, because you don't want to like Tom Cruise. You're like, this guy is a jerk. And then how am I going to basically understand Dustin Hoffman? I don't know anybody like this character that just needs certain, like Judge Wapner at 4:00. He has to be in bed by 11. He needs his specific underwear brand. Like the guy has specific ticks, and if you don't, it disrupts how he understands and can process the world just by taking that one small thing away. But eventually, like, I love at the end when the doctor is like, "Listen, I'll give you $250,000 to just walk away." And he's like, "It's not about the money anymore. I have a brother, and I didn't before, and that's worth more to me. So you can keep the money and keep making sure that he has the life that he needs to have, and that's fine."
And that's Barry Levinson, the director of the film, is so great. And what's so great about the film too is that it's not just Dustin Hoffman doing this fantastic performance, creating this autistic character, which I think a lot of us had not been exposed to in our lives, because autism at that time wasn't necessarily a well-known thing. But what you saw, the little windows into the memories of their relationship that he would occasionally drop, which really exposed the vulnerability there that could happen between and really is what was the foundation of their connection, rebuilding that connection. Ray had to remember, and so Tom Cruise's character had to remember, like, what was their relationship as brothers.
Yeah, he was the Rain Man.
Yeah, right.
Rain Man.
Yeah. And all of that, and so to have him all go back and start to remember these things and these flashes, these memory flashes, start to put it together, and you start to see that maybe this is one of the reasons why he became this kind of selfish person who's dealing with these high-end, cars and doing these kind of risks with his life, because there is no foundation there that had been there for him. It was taken away early on, and it was just him and his dad. And he has all this anger towards his dad, and all this stuff that was generated there. And then he's angry at his dad because he's giving the inheritance to Ray, to his brother.
Yeah, to a person he didn't know existed.
Yeah,
inheritance.
And he's taking all of his anger out on Raymond.
Right.
Who doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
No.
He is answering a question from a half hour ago. Yeah, and Valerina Galino is so good in the movie too, and just the whole journey that they go on. Just like Steve Martin, right? It is that Tom Cruise is used to being the selfish kind of thing, and to see him like slowly become human, and then like that interact, like when they put their heads together. Fuck, I cry every time, man. Every single time.
Oh, it's a heartbreaking ending.
Yeah, very heartbreaking. Yeah.
Raymond still doesn't know any better.
No,
he's going wherever he's told.
But he's got that moment.
Yeah,
right.
All right, so my number one then is a punt from earlier.
Oh.
Midnight Run.
Wow. Okay.
It's just the chemistry between Grodin and De Niro.
Yes.
And Pantoliano is great. And Taggart from Beverly Hills Cop plays the other bounty hunter. And it's, I don't know, it's a movie that I thought, like, I saw it years after it came out. Mm-hmm. It had been out. I wasn't, I don't have the slightest clue, probably like 6 or 7 when this came out. So clearly it wasn't made for me. So to revisit it years later, because Charles Grodin was a guy that I always saw in David Letterman. And you could see the way that Letterman interviews a guest. There's a difference of, hey, you're famous, I'll treat you with respect, to I really like you and I get along with you and I think you're great, so you can do whatever you want. You can be boring as hell, you're coming back. I'm having you again. Charles Grodin was this guy who you would see on that, and I liked watching Letterman. Your dad liked watching it. He loved Letterman, so I would watch it occasionally, or like, he'd get me, oh, you need to see this one. And Charles Grodin's just like, dude, this guy gets respect from somebody I love. Mm-hmm. So I started watching some of his movies, because at my age, I got introduced to him at Beethoven. Like, oh, okay, this is Charles Grodin? Then you go back and see something, man, you see him in this? There's a great scene. So they're on the run. It's De Niro is the bounty hunter that chases down Grodin. Grodin has defrauded, is it the mob or just a crime? It's the mob of a bunch of money. He's an accountant. And it's just like, whatever, it's the mob. They're bad people, so I stole money from bad people. What's the worst thing in here anyway? So they go on the run, and there kind of ends up a bounty on both of them. They're going to take out De Niro to grab him because he's worth more to them. So they try to intercede. So anyway, the two of them now went from I'm taking you in to now we're both on the run together.
Yeah.
They go into this bar, and they're out of cash. They're kind of scrambling. They play like FBI agents. And it's just like these rubes in this small town. They're like, we're here from, it was the Treasury Department.
Yeah, Treasury Department.
Yeah, and the guy's like, I need you to open your till. There's got passing fake bills around here. And he goes to open it, and he starts going through the description. Yeah. So our guy's like 6'3", dark hair, mustache, kind of shifty. You see anybody like that? No, everybody's been, whatever, gives another description. Yeah. And she goes, sounds like our guy. But he just does it in a way. And De Niro at first, you could tell as an actor, is playing the part of, I don't know where you're going. Yeah. So you can see him kind of sensing out like where Grodin's going. And then he in his eyes, you see him commit. So then he jumps in with them, and they start doing this 2-man game to get money out of the till. And he hands them a bunch of 20s. Check to see if those are real, and he takes just an eraser, takes a pencil and goes, this one's fake. Just sets it off the side and starts just taking money, and then puts one, that one's real, that's good. And that's happening in the background as Grodin is still over here juggling balls, keeping there. It's like I'm watching a magician with his assistant. Yeah. And there's just a bunch of great moments like that. Like one of the hitmen that's on the run for him calls in to Pantoliano. To Dennis Farina. Yeah. And his partner is this big dumb galoot, and he's shadow boxing him and like landing light punches. And the guy's talking to a mob boss, and he's like, "Yeah." So anyway, it's just like it's great because you would fuck with your friends as you're going out. Yeah, I love that movie.
I love when he comes back on the train. Miss me when he jumps back on the train. The whole flip out on the plane. But once again, this is De Niro's playing this bounty hunter he just wants to do this last job and be done with it.
Yeah, and I'm out.
Yeah, and he's out. And Grodin has this situation with his family. Like he's trying to the situation. And De Niro has a situation. Sorry, with his daughter. Yeah, right. And Grodin helps him to kind of like bridge that gap. And so it's like these classic road trip movies. There's always two people who have to learn something through the process. Mm-hmm. Right?
They both
learn from each other. They grow exactly, and all of that. And of course, John. I forget what the guy's name. Taggart. He does such a great chasing him down, and
that's another Ben Foster for me.
Yeah, I want to say John Ashcroft, but I know that's not right because it's the Attorney General or whatever. But yeah, this is one that I just go back to all the time because it's De Niro. It's when people talked about analyze this, it's like, oh, he could do comedy. I'm like, did you never see Midnight Run? Because he's so brilliant.
Holds his own.
Run. Yeah,
I mean, Grodin does the heavy lifting and the comedic moments, but De Niro plays a perfect secondary in all this. He never tries to steal, never tries to just like I'm adding, I'm helping.
And Yaphet Kotto does a great job with the FBI agent. So, all right, so that's your number one.
That was my number uno.
Okay.
Oh, it's yours next.
All right.
What do you got?
Mad Max Fury Road. That's my number one.
That's not a road movie.
That is a road trip
That's
movie.
not a road trip.
It was my number 3, but then I thought you guys would make fun of me for it. So
no,
it's not.
It's a road trip. They're all together trying to get to this place.
They are,
and then they have to go back. The entire film, the criticism of the film is that it's a road chase movie.
What's it called? The place?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, they are in that truck on the road.
It just when you say the words road trip to me, that doesn't even, for whatever, it just doesn't fit the definition of mine in any kind of rubric, any kind of anything. That is a round peg into a square hole.
Wow.
Doesn't fit for me.
I mean, if that was considered a road trip movie, I would honestly, that would probably be my number one.
It'd probably be my number one too. It's awesome.
There we go.
No.
So we've solved it.
None of us have that, so we both said if. We had qualifiers, the exact same qualifier.
Fine. I mean, I respect that you guys don't think it's a road trip, but I think it is because they're on the road. They're trying to get away from this guy. No different. They're trying, like the Midnight Run we just talked about, they're getting chased.
Yeah.
Same thing. They're getting chased by these guys. They're taking off, try to find this paradise, the land that Furiosa was from. When they get there, they realize that the land is not what she thought it was. So then they have to go back on the road and go back and fight these. So to me, it's an entire road trip. The whole movie's a road trip, which is what's my argument.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
It just maybe it's because they end up back at the same place. I don't know.
Okay.
It just,
but they both grown.
Maybe it's just more than that to me.
But Furiosa has grown, and so has Mad Max. They both.
Mad Max hasn't really grown. He's still kind of the same. Furiosa, I give you that.
Yeah. All right. Fine.
Yeah, but
all right.
Everton Joe,
Mad Max, he grew a little bit.
Yeah, of course he did.
He started talking to people at least.
Yeah.
Instead of just
monosyllabic.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wanted to get a little, hey, what's up, ladies? What's going on? We've been in the car for hours together.
And he doesn't take the accolades. He disappears into the. He could have totally lived there and been fine for the rest of his life.
Trying to impress 5 hot women, ladies.
Which is a cool. That's a cool ending too.
Yeah, it's a great ending.
That's something where I would see the character actually doing that.
Yep. Yeah. And great, and all the stuff that goes on with Nicholas Hoult, all the stuff that goes on with all the girls that are there, and to me, that's a road trip. Maybe it's not, because it's also an action scene. Maybe it's not. Some people would argue with it, but to me, that's a road trip movie. But all right, Gabe.
My number one is Almost Famous.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't count that as a road trip.
That's a tour movie.
They are.
See, I mean,
that's a touring movie.
But they're also on a plane. But it's like, where are they going? It's not like they're.
It's cross country though. It doesn't matter. I mean,
no, because road trip means road.
Yeah, well, what's the goal of the road trip? Usually, the road trip has like a point A to point B, either metaphorically or realistically.
Yeah.
When you sent me the text of that topic,
I know
Almost Famous automatically was my number one.
It's your list.
That's just
so defend
it.
Yeah, you got to defend it now. That's all we're asking you to do.
I love
my choice.
I love Cameron Crowe.
Yeah, okay.
I think he's a great director.
Absolutely.
I love Jerry Maguire.
Yes.
And Tom Cruise, obviously. And I don't know. There's just something about that movie. It's so appealing,
Yeah.
Like, it sucks you in from the opening moments. It's another story of innocence.
Mm-hmm.
He that writer, I don't remember his character's name or anything like that. But
Patrick Fuckett.
Yeah,
that's the actor's name. Yeah.
Yeah, the main character. He just wanted to follow a band and just learn more about rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's all he wanted to do. And he just gets sucked into this, like, way more than he asked for.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees some pretty dark stuff. Mm-hmm. But he comes out of it with a good message, too. And he's one of those characters, again, where his mom is always telling him what to do, never lets him do anything. She finally lets him do this one thing, and it's the craziest thing that could ever happen to him.
Right.
And
yeah, but he handled it like an adult.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Like, even though it was a lot to take on, he still managed to navigate the waters and get himself out safely.
Yeah. And Billy Crudup, that's how you say his name, right?
Crudup,
Billy Crudup. Yeah, he's great in that movie.
Yeah.
Plays a good rock star.
Jason Scott Lee, they're that's just typical 70s band stuff that you heard about all the time in retrospect, like all this stuff that, like, guys, always the lead guitarist and the
but why are we
singer.
dismissing Jimmy Fallon? I mean, Jimmy Fallon
I mean,
crushes that out of the park.
When I think of that movie as a road trip movie, I instantly think of the bus scene. They're all kind of mad at each other.
Yeah.
Then what's the song?
Tiny Dancer.
Tiny Dancer starts playing. They all start singing along.
Yeah.
It's a great scene.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And
the film, it's fantastic, man. I mean, all the scenes with Philip Seymour Hoffman are great between him and Fuckett are great.
It's just a coming of age movie to me.
Yeah.
Well, and it made me
Yeah.
interested in rock and roll too.
Sure.
Which, if a movie can do that for something I don't really listen to anyways, like it made me want to maybe listen to some of that music.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think if a movie can do that for me, then that's my number one.
All right.
Oh, really? You didn't listen to rock and roll before you watched Almost
Not
Famous?
that type of rock and roll. Like
not the 70s rock and roll.
Yeah, not 70s rock and roll.
Not Leonard Skinner, not all those guys.
Yeah. Are you still getting into that type of stuff? Or are you just like, I explored it for like a year and then I'm out?
I mean, I have some stuff on my playlist.
Okay. It doesn't sound like a lot. I mean, we would listen to your playlist a decent amount since you've been in town. I've yet to hear 70s.
I have not played any rock and roll. I'll make sure to do that.
No.
Oh. What have you been playing? What is Gabe's like number one go-to type of music?
A bunch of different hip hop I do and don't know. Like someone like, hey, check this out, see what this person is, and then some singer-songwriter here and there.
Okay.
Yeah,
like
some stuff I've heard, a bunch of stuff I haven't.
Like deep dive? Like what's your?
I mean,
like Kendrick Lamar. Or are you going?
I do like Kendrick. My favorite rapper is probably Travis Scott.
Ooh,
I love Travis Scott.
Yeah, damn. All right, okay.
Yeah,
respect, man. The kids, they know what's going on, man. We're too old now. I used to know what was going on.
It takes too much effort. It does. It takes energy to. I used to be the guy that like, I almost strive to find 100 new bands a year. I was always searching for new music. I loved it. I bought and listened to, and then eventually I was like, this is a full-time job.
Yeah.
I find, three bands this week, no bands next week, 4 bands the week after that, and just like, I can't listen to all this damn music. And lots of it starts to sound the same, and I can't keep chasing like the newest subgenre.
Right.
Like, electronic, folk bluegrass. Okay, they're pretty good at that.
You got too many movies to watch for our show, man. You can't be finding new bands.
I know. All right, so that was it.
Here we go. This is going to be fun. Shit.
All right, so you both have number ones that aren't road trip movies.
Nope.
So that's that is interesting as all hell.
I don't know about that.
Well, okay, we got to find what is the highest commonality between us.
Rain Man.
Right? Yeah, Rain Man.
Yeah.
Is Rain Man it?
Yeah.
Or Vacation, whichever one that is.
I would take Rain Man over Vacation.
Okay.
All right.
We could put Rain Man at 1 to kind of resolve that one
That's
situation.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that?
Rain Man at 1 works.
Okay.
If we all have it, like I got that at 3, you got that where?
Rain Man's number 2.
Yeah, 3 on mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes the most sense because we're not going to have a lot.
Okay. So what was your number 1 next?
I had Midnight Run, which only you have.
Yeah.
And then your number 1, nobody has.
Nobody has. And his number 1, nobody has.
And his number...
I almost want to take off his number 1 because I don't think Almost Famous is a road trip movie. I can make a case for Fury Road, and he almost put Fury Road on his list, which he admitted.
But 2 of us have Midnight Run.
Oh, no, I'm fine with Midnight Run being 2.
All right.
I'm okay with that. But I want Mad Max Fury Road next then.
That's between the 2 of you. Fight it out, gentlemen.
Gabe.
Fight it out. I'm supposed to give a tie here.
Gabe, you were going to put it on there anyway.
I mean, it's what is it on your list again?
Number 1.
You both have number 1.
both have
Yeah.
Almost
number 1?
Famous versus Fury Road.
I mean,
Fight it out.
if you want to...
Wow, you just caved that quick, huh?
You're
No, I
in
mean,
my house, Gabe.
A Cameron Crowe classic or a George Miller blockbuster?
Oh,
That's just how
there's
it
not a
is.
blockbuster. It's a goddamn classic. It's the best installment of those. You could argue the best installment of those 3.
I would
and
take-
you're
I would
actually
take-
on a road the whole time.
I would take 2.
You would take.
I'd take Road Warrior.
You would take Road. Oh, right, but still, you're on a road the whole time, right? Whereas in yours, they're on the plane. They stop in hotels and just stay there for days. They play concerts. It's not really a road trip, but it's a touring movie.
If Joyride can make this list,
No
then
way
I'll
is
give it to
Joyride
you.
making
If
this damn
Joyride can
list.
make this
No,
list, I'll
it's
give
so
it to
far
you.
down on your list, it's never going to sniff.
There's no way, Joyride.
Look, all like our bottom 5s apiece are not
Yeah.
going to more than likely
Yeah.
make it.
Okay, all right, I'll give it to you.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll give
All
it to
right,
you.
good. Smart choice.
Yep.
So we're taking Almost Famous off the list completely, though, right? Or are we putting it on there? Matt?
Listen, I sided with you, and I would have chosen Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah. Do you want to take it off the list or leave it on
You
the
know
list?
what? He was nice enough. It's his number 1.
All right.
I'll give him Almost Famous at number 4.
Gabe,
I got no problem with that.
I need you to work harder for the next time you come on,
I will.
Gabe.
I got you.
All right. What's the next one? Vacation?
My number 2. Yeah, Vacation makes most sense.
Right.
Is that the only one left that all 3 of us have?
I think so.
Yeah, I think
Or
so.
and Tommy Boy.
All right.
Because you
Right.
stepped in at 10, but why don't we put that later on since we all had it at
Yeah,
the bottom of our
okay.
list?
And Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, too.
Yeah, but I think only the 2 of us have it.
Yeah, true.
You want to do Planes, Trains at 6?
Works for me.
Okay, then I've got Pee-wee, which we have, and Thelma, which we have.
Yeah. I figured Thelma should probably be up there, dude.
Yeah.
I'm happy to concede that at 7. Is that good with you?
All right. What do you got next, Gabe?
Which number we at?
Whatever your next highest is that we haven't put on the list yet.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it is Dumb and Dumber.
At number what?
Number 3.
Okay, what you got?
My next one,
Yeah.
Muppet movie.
We don't have.
But we have
do we have
Pee-wees.
any? We have Pee-wees.
So
do we
yeah.
have any other commonality between the two of you or the two
Tommy
of us?
Boy. We have Tommy Boy and Pee
Tommy
Wee's.
Well, why don't we do here Tommy Boy here?
Tommy Boy at
since
8?
We all three have it.
Okay, Tommy Boy at 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do Tommy Boy there, Pee Wee next, and then we got to figure out 10. Work?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. This is tough.
Yeah.
This is unusual construction of this list. All right.
So then you got Dumb and Dumber at 3.
Yeah.
Still hasn't made it. What do you got
Number 3
left?
Still hasn't made it.
I have the Muppet Movie, Wizard of Oz, and the Blues Brothers.
What do you got Muppet at?
The next one up.
No, I mean 4, 5.
Oh, it
3.
was 6.
I kind of feel like we got to honor it since it's his number 3.
Which one?
Dumb and
Dumb
Dumber.
and Dumber. It's his number 3.
What do you have next?
2 out of your top 3, though, I do not view as road trip
Yeah,
movies.
what is your
Son
next?
of a bitch. My next one is one nobody has Dutch. So I
Okay.
think it's,
What's your next other one after that one?
After that, The Straight Story, then Little Miss Sunshine, and I think that's it.
I feel like I can't do this list without the Muppet Movie.
But without what?
That's a road trip movie, the Muppet Movie. That's a road trip movie.
Yeah, you can go ahead and take it.
What is
Dumb and Dumber is his 3.
Right. How about if we take Almost Famous off and put Dumb and Dumber at 4? Would you be okay
Don't
with
we
that?
have one spot left anyway?
Yeah, that's what I'm
we
saying.
got
I
10.
put Muppet Movie at 10, but I would take off Almost Famous and put Dumb and Dumber on.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's
Matt?
It's your movie. Do
Yeah.
you want to do the swap out?
Well, if both of you don't think it's a road trip movie, then obviously I'm probably in the wrong. So
Well, not that you're wrong.
You're not
but
wrong.
Yeah.
It's just we're trying to create a consensus.
You're just not as correct as you need to be.
It's a beautiful way to put it. This guy used to work at Merriam-Webster, if you didn't know.
That's right.
It's your call, though. It's
yeah,
your movie. If you want to fight for Almost Famous, you can have it.
No, I could put Dumb and Dumber right there. It's fine.
So we take Almost Famous completely off.
Yeah, it's all right.
We just, straight.
Are we
for the
okay with
record.
Dumb and Dumber at 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, we just asked him to take one of his off. So.
That's true.
All right, you want Muppets at...
Muppet Movie has to be at
10?
Yeah. Done and done.
I mean, nothing has to.
Well, maybe not in your mind, but certainly in mine.
All right, so it's my turn to bang?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, never mind. Yes.
It is. All right, so I don't really need the list.
All right, ready?
All right, I am ready. Give me those sweet, sweet falsetto, buddy. Amp up to it.
The top 10 road trip movies with special guest Gabe Knost. Yeah.
All right, at number 10.
Moving right along with the Muppet Movie.
At number 9.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Coming in at number 8 is...
Tommy Boy.
At number 7.
Thelma and Louise.
Rounding out our bottom 5.
At number 6, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
And now into the top portion at number 5.
Vacation. National Lampoon's Vacation.
In the Quattro is...
Dumb and Dumber.
Coming in at the 3 spot.
Mad Max Fury Road.
And our penultimate number 2 is...
Midnight Run.
And finally, our number 1 road trip movie is...
Rain Man. That's a great choice. This is a great list. It's
It is a
list,
very good
right?
choice.
It's a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't do honorable mentions last week.
Oh.
You got any you want to throw in real quick?
Yeah, sure.
I have Muppet Movie and Zombieland on the side.
I have Dumb and Dumber Zombieland on mine as well. I have Y Tu Mama Tambien. I have Borat.
Kingpin, anybody?
Kingpin, certainly,
Oh, I
yes.
totally forgot
Yep.
about that.
That was a close one.
Flirting with Disaster.
Okay.
The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Away We Go.
I mean, I've seen it. I don't know if it makes my list.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? Head Sideways.
Yeah.
Head
Oh,
Up.
brother, I didn't
Yeah.
think about that as
Yeah.
because I thought about it in the construct of getting into a vehicle and taking
Yeah.
a road trip.
Yep.
Whereas had I looked at it like you did for Wizard of Oz, oh brother, probably would have made my list.
Yeah, oh brother, I was really considering, but because they never get into an actual vehicle and go anywhere.
They do. I mean, a couple times.
Yeah.
Like, are you in OFT when the kid is driving?
Oh,
and he goes
yeah.
into like there are patches.
Yeah.
In cars and stuff, and like on the train tracks.
That's true. About Schmidt was another one that I really enjoyed from. Okay, do you have any others? Those
No.
Okay.
No, I think that covers all.
Gabe,
all
do you have any
mine.
honorable mentions?
Almost Famous was off, right? So
Yeah.
I can't say that.
Well, you can.
Well,
Well,
you
we
can.
already talked
You
about
give
it.
it a little more love, but
Is
yeah.
there any was?
Anything didn't make it, or you didn't talk about?
Oh yeah, I honestly was probably gonna put SpongeBob SquarePants the movie at number 10.
Sure.
It was there. It really was.
I love
it was
it.
gonna take Tommy Boy, but I got a little bit scared.
Damn.
And I took it off. I put Tommy
Well,
on
look,
there.
Respect that.
in college, I stumbled upon SpongeBob, and it was like on season 2 or 3, and came on early afternoon when I got home from class. I got hooked on that show for like a year. It's got some really good, sometimes subversive jokes.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, I like this show.
Yeah. Tom Kenny, great voiceover of SpongeBob.
Yeah.
All right, that's our list. Top 10 road trip movies. Thanks, everybody, for listening to us here on the Schmoes Know Plus
Yep. Thank
podcast
you.
channel. Thank you.
To Gabe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me
Appreciate
be
it.
here.
Thanks
Really
for being a great
appreciate
fan of ours, Gabe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. How do you feel? Do you think it went well? Did you enjoy your experience?
It went very well. Any fan should come up here and do it.
Slow down, Gabe.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to make a donation in the future.
That's right. That's right.
We'll figure out that the charity will probably be our production company that doesn't exist.
Well,
donate to them.
I will continue to promote this podcast for
Please
free.
do.
Thank you, Gabe. For
free.
Oh,
For free.
Oh, for free.
I think we've paid you quite a bit here.
Oh, yeah, he's right.
We've paid you quite a
What a
bit.
guy.
He's right.
Anyway, guys, please always subscribe to the Schmoes Know Plus podcast channel, the Schmoes Know iTunes feed. There you can see it. Great shows there. The Wanger Show after Schmoes
Outlaw Nation. Didn't forget it this week. I apologized last week.
Thank you, Matt. Don't Be a Beardo, which is a great
Don't Be a
interview
Beardo,
show.
yeah.
You got to get on that show. I think you'd enjoy being on that show. And then Schmoedown Rundown Show, which of course
And then after-
is on and after Schmo we've talked
Schmoedown.
about. Yeah, so
Sure.
subscribe, leave comments. Patronize their shows. It's really great stuff. And let Christian know that you love the show, that you're happy it's back. Let Christian and Mark know.
Yeah,
I mean,
mainly just, if you want to download it, go to iTunes.
Yep.
It's under the Schmoes No feed. You
Yep.
can find it there. You don't search us out on iTunes or Stitcher
Yeah.
or wherever. Somebody asked me if it was on Stitcher, but then somebody else found it on another platform.
Yeah.
It's basically wherever you can find the Schmoes, you can find us.
Yeah.
And
It's also on Podcast One. Yeah.
yeah, Podcast One, you can find us over there. Like just anywhere you get podcasts, you should be able to get us.
Yeah.
But we're under Schmoes now, so search that out. You can find us through that.
Yep.
And leave us a comment on there. I love that you brought it up on the first episode, and because I was trying to download to find the link.
Yeah.
And later on, after it had already come out, and I didn't realize it, you texted me about it. Somebody, I believe, had already gone on and left a comment for us.
Oh.
I love the top 10 show. I'm so glad it's back. But in their in their comments,
Yeah.
because we're under their banner. But it was interesting, like it just popped up as the first comment because
Right.
it's the newest one. It was
That's
like,
right.
Oh, that throwaway line. I didn't think anybody would do that. Somebody left a comment saying, hey, you guys are great, but these other guys.
There we go.
The other guys. Appreciate it.
What can I tell you? But iTunes is what helps us the most. Yeah, I mean, YouTube is great, but iTunes, the downloads, is what
Yeah.
helps us the most. So please download the
If you want to see the show grow.
Yeah, exactly.
Downloads on iTunes.
Tell your friends and family about the show. Promote it on your social medias. Do whatever you can. And of course, please social media. Follow Matt.
At Matt Knost.
That's right.
Gabe, you want anybody to follow you anywhere?
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
You sure? All right.
Really? Nothing?
This is
On
your
your
chance.
Instagram or?
I do have one thing to say.
Okay.
Anyone who's already a follower of this podcast should just go to another friend if they're maybe interested in movies, anything like that. This is the perfect podcast to get into movies.
Wow. Thank you, Gabe.
I thought you were about to plug somebody else's podcast.
No,
I was
man.
like, oh, who's this? Who do I not know about?
No, I mean, I showed my best friend Rogelio Martinez's podcast, and he loves it.
Oh, okay.
And he was getting into movies, and now because of this podcast, he knows a lot more about film.
Plus,
Thanks,
he doesn't love the name Rogelio.
It's a beautiful
Rogelio.
name.
It's
a good name.
It's a good name.
It is a good name. There are no badass Anglo names that fucks with Rogelio.
Although I did hear at Comic-Con, one of the kids in Stranger Things, his last name is Wolfhard.
Wolfhard?
Wolfhard. That's a good name.
Oh, dude, I did a show one time. It was technically a corporate event, but it was a college, but it was for anyway, it was down at San Diego, University of California, San Diego. And it was basically a room full of 40-somethings, 50-somethings. And then this kid contacted me about it, this Indian kid, and his name is Man Beer. So I did the opening 3 minutes of Man Beer. How great is the only way your name could be better is Whiskey Punch. But Man Beer, that's his God-given. I saw his, IDs. Man Beer.
Man Beer's an awesome name.
Man Beer, that is a great name. Your parents did not realize when they named you that in India. It's going to be pretty sweet here stateside.
Here in the States, that's right.
Man Beer here.
Man Beer. All right, that's our show for this week. Matt, anything else you want to say?
No, just thanks, and we will see you guys next week.
Absolutely. Bye-bye now.